Alright, welcome back to Star Ocean Anamnesis. So, the Cherry Blossom event has started, and the Crown Dodo is the boss of the event. I don't really know what dodos have to do with Cherry Blossoms. Regardless, here's his moveset. Its first attack is called Deep Freeze, the standard ice attack that bosses usually have. So, he starts casting Symbology, and then he spawns this whirlpool of ice underneath his target. And just like all of the other Deep Freezes, this one is really difficult to avoid if you're not running some form of anti-flinch. So, as soon as he stops casting, dash away in any direction and you should be able to avoid it. But like I said, if you don't have anti-flinch, you are very likely to get caught with the initial hit, so be careful of that. And then up next we have Paralyzing Lightning Blast, another Symbology attack. So he starts casting for a very short while and then he fires this stream of lightning at his target. This has the ability to paralyze you, which makes it very problematic if you get hit by it, but it's very easy to avoid. All you have to do is just dash to the side and you should be able to avoid it. And then up next we have Paralyzing Shot. This is the closest thing that he has to a melee attack. So he opens his mouth and then he just spits 3 acid orbs out in front of him. So as you would guess, these are only dangerous for close-range characters, and you can actually easily avoid it as a close-range character by just dashing behind the dodo, and they should never hit you. But if you're standing a little too far in front of them, you could also dash backwards and create even more space to avoid it like that. And then up next we have Scrambler Ball, which I would say is one of his more difficult attacks to avoid. So he just opens his mouth and then he spits out 3 purple orbs that can home in on their target. They fly into the air and then they kind of circle around and then converge on their target, and because of that it's kind of difficult to see when they are going to strike because the camera in this game sucks. So you basically have to guess when you have to dodge, but I would recommend dashing to the side to avoid it, because that way you can just avoid all of them at once, whereas if you dash forwards, they can still home in on you. Alright, up next we have Thunder Flare, which is another Symbology attack. So he starts casting and then he spawns a Thunder Orb directly on top of his target. So this orb also has a pulsating effect, so if you're not standing directly inside of the orb, it can still hit you. This attack is actually a lot easier to avoid than Deep Freeze because it doesn't hit you as soon as it comes out. So to dodge this, I recommend dashing in any direction twice, because if you only dash once, then usually you're going to get caught by the pulse that has. So dash in any direction twice and you should be able to avoid it very easily. And then we have Twister Dance. So he jumps backwards to the complete opposite side of the arena from his target, and then when he's there, he spawns these 5 lines on the ground, and then as you would guess, he sends 5 purple orbs alongside those lines. These orbs are very slow moving and they explode whenever they hit something, so the easiest way to avoid this is by standing directly behind your teammate and make them take the hit. So, I mean, the other way to avoid it is by standing in between the lines, which is probably a lot safer. You could also dash directly into the orbs and use your invincibility to avoid taking damage. And then lastly, we have its Enrage attack, Large Shockwave, which he will always use after using his power-up, the Super Cherry Blossom power-up thing. So after doing that, he jumps up into the air, and then, I kid you not, he teleports into the ground and then explodes outwards. I actually went through this frame by frame and he just spawns into the ground. So when that happens, he creates this explosion and that hits you for about 1,000,000 damage. The fight is basically lost as soon as he does this once, because he's just going to keep spamming it and you don't have enough time to actually hit him. But if you still want to put up a fight, you can dodge this by dashing into the side of the arena, and that gives you enough invincibility frames to completely avoid the attack. It also hits multiple times, so even if you dodge one part of it, it can still hit you as soon as you're out of your invincibility. And that does it for the Dodo's moveset. So this thing is actually kind of tough for a Misery 1 boss, so I wouldn't really underestimate it if I'm fighting this. Like, even playing on auto, this thing is really strong. So it seems like we're finally moving into JP territory of bosses where they're all really powerful and autoing is kind of a thing of the past. Regardless, I guess stay tuned for my Blossom Maria and Blossom Venus pull video, which I think I'm going to put that up tomorrow, or I haven't even pulled yet, so oh man, wish me luck. Regardless, I'll see you guys next time. Peace!